Hey all, happy holidays and welcome back to another speed build. We're going back to the roots, no face cam today. I'm actually back in Michigan, so I just don't have all the stuff to be able to do a face cam. And also I'm sitting on my basement floor and I just could not do it today. And I wanted to get this video out because I was like, I recorded this and I just have to do the voiceover. So here we are doing the voiceover. So I don't know if you guys know about those like little they're kind of like Christmas cottages, Christmas villages. It's these like small ceramic or wooden houses that some people will have and like build these massive villages. I think my family has had some and they've just been like little lamps, like one or two of them that we've had around during the holidays. But this is basically inspired from one of those. I was looking on Pinterest and I saw all these those ceramic houses, those like Christmas villages, and I was like, oh, this is really cute, I should build one in The Sims. And I found one that was these Christmas flats. And that's what this is inspired by. It's definitely like really the outside that is the only like Christmassy feeling thing. The inside definitely is not. Of course, when I'm like rushing to record some videos because I'm gonna be gone, I'm like, I need to build something that's actually 4 different units. So yeah, every single one is 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. When I started furnishing it, I kind of was like, for each one was kind of concentrating on a certain pack / like a certain color scheme just to make like furnishing it a lot faster. Of course, per usual, all the bathrooms are pretty boring and are exactly the same, but it's also an apartment building, so all the bathrooms and kitchens will be exactly the same. But anyway, I just want to talk about my trip so far because I've been home for a couple days now, and I just want to I'm going to say this so excitedly. I think I talked about this in a past video. The day I came, the day after, it started snowing and the snow has stuck. I'm going to try to remember to stick a picture right here of my backyard. It is so beautiful and I am so lucky that there's snow here. But also what's really funny is the minute I leave New York, it snows and it sticks in New York. It has not snowed in New York for the last 3 years. So of course, when I leave, of course it's gonna snow. And when I say New York, I mean New York City. I know upstate it snows a lot, but definitely New York City. Okay, so right now we are working on the front and kind of the top of the flat, the apartment building. I thought this was kind of a cool idea, having these roofs kind of wrap around. In the picture, it has kind of an edging, and I was like, oh, how am I gonna do that, and especially make it look good? And this was a kind of interesting way to do it, and I think this is pretty common because it will help the water run off, even though water could just run into the middle. But I think it's pretty interesting and it's something different. This is definitely a different style build that I've done before, but I'm very happy with how it looks. I think it definitely replicates what the actual build is, the actual my source material, as you can say. Of course, I did take some creative liberty because, again, I was just using it as inspiration. The source or the actual reference I was using, it was all paneling, but I wanted it to look a little bit nicer and a little bit cooler. So I had the first floor be all these bricks and then the second floor be paneling, which is very common, especially for older builds, that the first floor will be brick to kind of have a good foundation, and then the second floor will have the paneling. Also, it just looks nice. And so, as I was saying, it's really only the outside that's super Christmassy. So I added wreaths to all the doors. Each of the apartments has its own little patio in the front, so I added a little wreath. I tried using different wreaths. I even used the new wreath that came with that new event that was going on. I didn't have the final wreath that came with the final part because at the time I'm filming this, that's not out yet, but I did use one of the newer wreaths, and I think they're pretty nice. The Christmas wreaths are very cute. I didn't put one on the front door just because the reference didn't have one on the front door, but I did put it on the window above. Now that the events are done by the time this comes out, I want to know your guys' thoughts. And I know that everyone kind of has very specific thoughts on these holiday or just themed events that they do. And I know it's nice because it's free, you get free stuff, and it's not really cool stuff, but free stuff. No one can complain about free stuff. And this one I feel was a lot easier than the Life and Death pack event that was out a while ago. And this one was a lot easier, I can say. And for me, it wasn't as buggy. I did hear that it was buggy for some people, but I'm very curious what everyone's thoughts of them continuing it, because it's very obvious they're going to. I just wish it was longer, or there was a way, or maybe in 6 months, maybe in I don't know, March or April, they like give everything for free, so then people who miss the events or like got the game later can still have the items. Because if you really think about it, and this is kind of an issue that I was thinking about, is that like if you download someone's build and they have these stuff in it, it's gonna be gone. Like there's no way of ever having it if you download The Sims in a month. There's no way of having these items anymore, and so like you'll never be able to have them from other people. And I know that like you could probably pull them from the gallery, I think. Okay, and now actually on second thought, I remember that when the event first came out, people were like kind of cheating and putting them on the gallery in like rooms anyway. So actually maybe if you download it from the gallery and you didn't actually have it in your game, it would be in your game anyway because it's already built in. It's just kind of like locked behind something. So maybe that's actually not going to be an issue, that like people in the future downloading these builds, they just won't be able to pull it from their own inventory kind of vibe. You know what I mean? I think that's probably how it works, which I guess is like fine, but it's still a little bit disappointing, and I think they should just release it publicly without you having to do the actual trial in like a couple months after. Almost like by doing the tasks and the event, you get early access kind of vibes. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. So right now we are working on the kitchens. All the kitchens are the same. I try to keep the kitchens pretty basic, and they are a little bit Christmassy. I use I think it's from Cottage Living. I use like the red cabinets that are very, very Christmas red, holiday red. And so I think those look pretty nice. Both of the kitchens on the top floor are the same, and then the kitchens on the bottom floor are a little bit of a different layout because they have a counter that you can sit at. At this point, I actually placed a sim on the lot and then one of those attic boxes so I could put decorations up on like the eaves and the fences and everything. And what is really upsetting is that since there is like a pretty thick frieze on the top of each floor, I can't put any lights there. There's like lights underneath the frieze, but they're like put on the wall actually, so you can't see them, unfortunately. So there's no like Christmas lights on the friezes of the building, but I do have them on the foundations and the fences. But then I also like cover the foundations with the new bushes that came with the event that have those like twinkling lights. I was like, I'm gonna use these. And speaking of bushes and landscaping, I don't love the landscaping of this build. I definitely was very rushed near the end, which is when I did the landscaping, like trying to add all of the plants and stuff, and I just was not working. And also doesn't help that this is a very snowy build, so everything that you use is dead. So it was definitely very hard to try to landscape it. And even like the backyard, I'm not very happy with, and I think I end up cutting it out of most of this speed build just because it just like does not look good. That's okay. It's the holidays, and not everything has to be perfect. So right now we're actually working on the first unit, which I believe is downstairs, and this is the one that is I kind of used like more like reddish colors. It was a very red apartment, and I use a lot of like Tiny Living and Dream Home Decorator for this one. That's something that kind of helped me like speed along these apartments, was kind of just like concentrating on either like a color scheme or like 1 or 2 packs each, just to kind of like limit what could actually go in the apartment. It also helps everything kind of match each other. So that like helped out a whole lot, especially on this one, and especially with like making it look a little bit more lived in and adding like plants and like decorations. It was very useful to only use 2 different packs. This apartment definitely like kind of set the layout for the rest of them, just kind of where furniture was going to be, and the rest of them very, very closely mimic this one because of that. So each of the apartments kind of has a main couch, a little sitting chair, a TV, and then like the kitchen area, and then maybe some other decorations. They're not really super unique, to be honest, and I think that's all right because I think it just like works for the kind of build it is. As someone who has lived in apartments for a while, it's very, very clear that like depending on the size of the apartment, kind of without people even talking to each other, everyone kind of ends up having very, very similar layouts of furniture, just because apartments are built a very specific way for certain furniture to go where. And even though they won't tell you or show you photos, everyone's little brains just kind of puts everything in the same place. Even though I've seen like photos of apartments that I've like moved into or like moved out of, and then seen like photos of the inside of it where someone else lived there, and then seen how they've placed things, and I'm like, why did you place it like that? For example, in the apartment I live in right now, they used to put their couch, they had like an L-shaped couch that was like against the opposite, like the wall that our TV is on. So it was like the couch was like facing the inside of the apartment instead of facing a wall where a TV would be. I don't even think they had a TV, which is maybe why they had it that way. So then they just had like a big open space, and it was just like an odd layout it kind of felt awkward because our couch is actually not against a wall. It's kind of in the middle of, like, it's like the one side of it's against the wall, but like the back of it behind it's my desk. So like it kind of creates like a barrier between like my desk area and then like the living space, like the living room, and I think it works out really well. I did build that apartment in The Sims. If you guys want to check out that video, it's somewhere on my channel. I say that because like every apartment I've ever lived in, I've furnished it in The Sims before I actually like move in there to like kind of figure out where everything goes. And this one was a collaboration with me and my partner this time, but the actual video I posted was just me remaking it because at that point I already lived in that apartment for a hot minute. Maybe if I ever, which I will move at some point, but maybe if I move again, I'll do a little video where I decorate my apartment in The Sims, or like not like decorate it, but like arrange my apartment in The Sims and then also arrange it in real life. I think that could be really fun. Actually, now that I've thought about that, that's a really good video idea. And moving on to the second unit. This unit I like to call the high school years apartment. It's very pink and probably maybe like one of my favorites. I just think it's a little silly. I love high school years. I think the like furniture that came with it is so fun and different from what's already in The Sims. It's just like very like youthful. It's like not anything I would actually want in my real apartment, but it's really fun to decorate with. So this one was definitely one of my favorites to work on. And even though like I am largely using high school years, it's not like the only pack I'm using. Like you can see that like console table's not high school years. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that's not high school years. Something I do like that I did on this one is I put a curtain over the front door, just because like if you really think about it, especially live on the first floor, like that's the most like visible window in the apartment. I guess there's like the windows on the wall, but like it's very visible to see in. So I put a little curtain there, which I think is like pretty nice looking. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out. There's like a bookcase. There's like a nice living room. The bedroom's pretty tiny, but what's nice about high school years, it has some like really nice dressers and just like wardrobes that are pretty small and can like fit in corners and stuff, because they have like those single tile wardrobes, and I love a single tile wardrobe. I just think they fit in places so well, and they're like unique. There's like not a whole lot of them in The Sims 4. And I also just like the shapes of them. Like here, I just placed that one in the corner. I just think that's a really fun shape. It's almost like Art Deco, which is a very interesting choice for a like high school like pack. The fact they kind of did like more of a like boho Art Deco mixed pack is very interesting. And I would love to hear more about like their thoughts when they're making packs. Like I wish they had some like more like behind the scenes information on like what their thought process and design process when they're working on packs is. I just think that would be really fun, but also like I do understand like why they won't do that, because people in the Sims community are not very nice, and I feel like they would probably get yelled at no matter what, even though if it's really cool information to see their inside process of why they choose what they choose. I also think just like people who design are like some of the like most creative people ever. Like designers for like games and like animation, like there's just like the way their brains work is just so awesome, and I have so much applaud for what they're able to do. So yeah, I think it'd be really awesome to have like an inside knowledge of the just like the pipeline and like the process of how these Sims packs are made, because obviously it's like a designer designs the furniture and then someone else takes that and actually makes 3D renderings of it. And like I think they talked a lot about it. At least I think they gave us a little bit more insight on this process, especially on Twitter when Life and Death came out. I remember a lot of the designers were kind of coming out about how they did and chose what they did, and like especially with like all those like small motifs that they were including. But then of course like someone was literally bullied off of the internet during that period too, so I would see why they would not do that. So, and not to like bring up that drama again, but like even still just like thinking about it, it like pisses me off so much that like people literally bullied a sim guru off the internet because there was not snow in the world. And that's literally it. But anyway, moving on, let's talk about this next apartment. So this one is kind of more of like the paranormal, and I think I use a mix of paranormal and I think werewolves probably for this one, and maybe some other packs I kind of like intermingled in. But this one I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be the more like spooky one. Actually, that bed frame right there is from For Rent. So I think it's like For Rent. It was like, this is kind of the more like boho-ish apartment. So kind of like paranormal vibes, but using other packs too. And I think it's cute. I think it's really fun. Definitely take a shot every time I say, oh, I think it's cute. I think it's really fun. Just like take a shot every time that happens. And moving on, this one is the Horse Ranch apartment. So this is definitely the one that kind of matches the cabinets the closest, just because everything is wooden and brown. I mean, the cabinets are red, but everything's wooden in that apartment. And I think this one, I like this one too. This is, I think, the only one I actually put anything on the patio. I kind of forgot to put stuff on the patios of the other ones, and I ended up putting 2 little rocking chairs because I think that's really cute and fun and different. Not really. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of happy with how all these apartments worked out. I definitely didn't have a whole lot of time to work on them, so I definitely think choosing that kind of like limited pack for each apartment kind of helped a whole lot, and especially with like the color coding everything. And of course, like, that's what I do all the time. Like, I feel like that's something I maybe need to get better at, is not relying so much on color, but it's just so easy just to have like one color for like the entire house. So maybe I just need to do more of those like one color challenges, because I end up doing it anyway, or especially for certain rooms, kind of just having a core color scheme. But also, that's a good way to build, and that's a good way to learn how to build. And actually, this is the only apartment with 2 bedrooms. I totally forgot about that, because there was that little middle space. I thought about maybe splitting it in half and having the bathroom kind of share on each side, but I was like, no, let's have one of the apartments have 2 bedrooms, and this one actually has a children's room, which is really nice. So they can have a kid in that apartment. And here we are working on the back, which I don't love. I did put a giant Christmas tree. I sized it up one time, and it looks good in the snow. That's all I can say. Like, it's kind of weird having the like little like skirt on the holiday tree outside, but when there's snow, it's covered, so you can't really see it anyway. And I add a whole lot of those bushes. Like I said, this is not my best landscaping ever, but I do add some benches around the Christmas tree and some picnic tables just to kind of like fill in the space, so it looks like there's kind of a shared space in the back. Like, you kind of have to walk around the building to get to anyway, so I'm kind of thinking of it more as like a public spot that's attached to this building, because there's no like back porch or anything to walk into it. You'd have to like walk on the sidewalk and then walk to the Christmas tree. So it's kind of more of like a public space than actually like a private park just for the residents of the apartment. And I totally forgot, I actually never add these. I added a little fountain right where, like, in the little like alcove in the apartment, I added a little cute little fountain, and I think it looks really nice. So unfortunately, I did not have enough time to record a little walkthrough, and I don't have the stuff here to do that. So I'm just gonna place this on the gallery, and actually remember to place on the gallery. I'm gonna put a screenshot here of it on the gallery, and you guys can check it out yourself. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time, and I hope you have a happy holidays. Bye.